Hello everyone, this is part 7 video on past year NEET questions from the chapter Thermodynamics. We'll start with a question that has come in the year 2001. They're giving two reactions to us. PbO2 gives rise to PbO, that is the reduction basically. From plus 4, Pb is coming to plus 2. Del G for this is negative, means what? This is spontaneous. Okay. Second equation is tin oxide. From plus 4 it is coming to plus 2, del G is positive, means what? This is non-spontaneous. Now let us look at what is it that they are asking. The most probable oxidation state of Pb and tin will be. So Pb is lead and Sn is what? Tin. So we need to look at what is the most probable oxidation state of lead and tin. So if you look at the first equation, right? So when lead is changing from plus 4 to plus 2, what are we observing? So del G is negative. Del G negative means we are saying this is what? Spontaneous. Means between plus 4 and plus 2, the plus 2 will be more stable. That is why the lead is able to spontaneously move from plus 4 state to plus 2 state. Means for Pb it will be what? Plus 2, which will be the most probable oxidation state. And for tin, if you look at the reaction for tin, right, when it is moving from plus 4 to plus 2, what we are observing is del G is what? Positive, non-spontaneous. So from plus 4, the tin cannot easily move to plus 2 because the reaction is what? Non-spontaneous. Means for tin, what will be the most probable oxidation state? Plus 4. In fact, if you look at the 14th group elements, right? So what are tin and lead? These are the 14th group elements: carbon, silicon, germanium, then comes tin, then comes lead. So these 14th group elements, right, they will have two possible oxidation state, plus 4 and plus 2. As we move down the group, plus 2 oxidation state stability will be increasing. Okay, so this is you will study in the P block 13th and 14th group chapter, that this is because of the inert pair effect. So what is it? Because this is because of the inert pair effect. Okay, so the valence arrangement of these elements will be ns2 np2. The ns2 electrons will become reluctant as they are attracted more by the nucleus as we go down the group. So that is the reason why that effect will be increasing as we go down the group, and we will see that in case of tin, the plus 4 will still be more stable than plus 2, but as we go to lead, plus 2 will finally become stable state than plus 4 itself. Okay, so at the top we have plus 4 more stable, at the bottom only one element, lead, will be having a plus 2 state more stable than plus 4. Okay, so what is the correct answer for this? It is option D, where for Pb lead it is plus 2 and for tin it is plus 4. Next we have a question, it's a very straight question, 2000. Cell reaction is spontaneous when? So when cell reaction will be spontaneous, I mean forget about cell reaction or anything, any reaction for that matter, when it will be spontaneous? When del G for that reaction is actually negative. So delta G negative means what? It indicates the spontaneity condition. And in case of cell, we have a relation between the del G of the reaction and the EMF of the cell. So the relation is what? Del G is equal to minus NFE. So naught represents standard conditions. So whenever we put del G naught or E naught, they represent what? The standard thermodynamic conditions. Okay, so 298 Kelvin, 1 bar pressure. So here if del G is negative, means what we will get is the E naught value of the cell will be what? Positive. The cell potential must be what? Positive. So what is the correct answer for this? We can see option A. Why? Because del G naught should be what? Negative. That's when the cell reaction will be spontaneous at the standard thermodynamic conditions. Now here in option B they are saying del G positive, that is not correct. Option C and D they are talking about E naught of the reduction. Okay, so basically they are talking about the every cell will have two parts. One is cathode, every electrochemical cell cathode, which we show as the electrode where the reduction happens, and we'll have anode where there will be oxidation happening. So that is what is the composition of an electrochemical cell. Okay, always E cell or E naught cell will be equal to the E naught of the reduction electrode, which is the cathode, minus the E naught of the oxidation electrode, which is the anode part. Okay, so that is how this comes, but there is no clear condition in terms of the potential of the reduction electrode. It is the overall cell potential that we have to be focusing on. Okay, so this comes in +2 we have electrochemistry chapter. So these kind of questions we will be able to see in the electrochemistry. Okay, next we have a question that has come in the year 2000. They are giving us reactions, 3 reactions they are giving. 2Zn plus O2 gives rise to 2ZnO. What is the del G naught value? Minus 616. 2Zn plus S2 gives rise to 2 zinc sulfide. Del G naught minus 293. S2 plus 2O2 gives rise to 2SO2. So here del G naught is what? It is minus 408. Now we need to find what is the del G naught for the reaction. What is the reaction for which we need to find the del G naught? It is 2ZnS plus 3O2 gives rise to 2ZnO plus 2SO2. So for this reaction we have to find what is the del G naught. Now we know, like the way we have Hess law when it comes to the measurement of enthalpy change of any unknown reaction. So the approach to find the del G or del G naught. I mean, del G naught means what? The only thing is we are measuring under the standard conditions. That is the only thing. Okay. So the approach to find del G or del G naught of an unknown reaction will be same as that we follow in the Hess law. Means if you have a combination of reactions, because all these are what? All these are state properties or state functions. Enthalpy, free energy, entropy, all of them are what? State functions. So the Hess law method can be used in finding the del G of an unknown reaction, del S of an unknown reaction. So whatever the approach we follow for delta H calculation, right, in the Hess law, what is it? If you have a combination of reactions, the enthalpy change of the overall reaction will be equal to what? The sum of the enthalpy changes of the individual reactions, whatever number of individual reactions we have. So sum of the enthalpy changes of the individual reactions will be equal to the enthalpy change of the overall reaction. That is the concept of Hess law. Okay. Now here we have this unknown equation. So we need to see how we will get this unknown equation by making a combination of the given. So take a look at the given equations. What do we observe? We observe that in the second, so let's just number them 1, 2, 3. Okay. In the second equation we have 2Zns, but that is coming on the product side. In the overall equation we have 2Zns, but it is on the reactant side. What must happen? The second reaction should be reversed. When we reverse the second reaction, right, it will become what? The second reaction will become 2Zns gives rise to 2Zn plus S2. And for this del G naught will be equal to what? So when you reverse the reaction, del G naught will be equal to negative of the original reaction del G, which is what? Minus of minus 293 will be plus 293. Minus of minus 293 will be plus 293. Okay. So second reaction we are reversing it. So let's call it as what? 2 dash. Then if you see first reaction, in first reaction 2 moles of ZnO is there. Final reaction also we have 2 moles of ZnO. So first reaction is going to be as it is. We are not going to modify it. Okay. So for this what is the del G naught? First reaction, it's minus 616 joules, as it is, no change in that. And the third reaction will also be as it is. Why? Because in the third reaction we have 2 moles of SO2. The same 2 moles of SO2 is also there in the overall reaction. Means third reaction is also as it is. So only the second reaction we are reversing it. Okay. So if you look at what are the steps we are doing, first we are reversing the second reaction. Okay, so second reaction we are reversing it. Okay, and hence the del G naught, so we are just changing the numbering so that we'll just write them in the same order. Okay, second reaction after reversing, what we are getting? 2Zns gives rise to 2Zn plus S2. What is the del G naught? Since we reversed it, right, the del G naught will become plus 293. First reaction original list is kept as it is. Okay, 2Zn plus O2 gives rise to 2ZnO minus 616. Third reaction is also as it is. Now, if you look at the del G naught of the overall reaction, right, how do we get it? By adding the 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 means we are looking at the modified equations. We are looking at the modified equations. When we add up the del G naught values of these modified equations, right, we will get the del G naught of the overall unknown equation. So which means what? Which means if we simply add them up, right, 293 minus 616 minus 408. Okay, so if you simplify it, it will be coming as what? Minus 731. How much it is coming as? Minus 731. So here in thermodynamics, whenever we are doing a problem, we have to be careful about the plus minus values, because you can see while the correct answer is option A, which is minus 731, we also have option D, which is plus 731. So we have to be doubly careful. Okay, so here for finding, so this is something that we can remember. For finding the del G or del S or del H, all of them we will have the same approach of an unknown equation. So if you want to find the delta G or delta S or delta H of an unknown equation, the del H of the unknown equation is equal to what? Sum of enthalpies of the individual reactions, that is the Hess law. That is what is the Hess law approach, right? So we will follow the same Hess law approach when finding the del G of the overall reaction and del S of the overall reaction also. So it is the same approach basically. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. This is a question that has come in the year 2000. At 27 degrees centigrade means what? 300 Kelvin. The latent heat of fusion means delta H fusion of the compound is what? 2930 joule per mole. What is the entropy change? So we need to find what is the entropy change in the fusion process. Generally, if you look at the entropy change calculation problems, right, I think in previous problems also, if you happen to follow the other videos of this particular chapter, you will know that we have been getting questions on either the reversible isothermal process finding the entropy change, or we have problems coming on the finding or measurement of entropy during phase change. Okay, so what is the entropy change formula in a reversible process? It is nothing but the del Q in the reversible process by the corresponding temperature. Okay, so here if we look at the fusion or melting, it is a reversible process. Solid will be having an equilibrium with the liquid, right? So in this case, what is the heat exchanged Q? Q will be equal to what? Delta H for the fusion. The Q in this process is what? Delta H for the fusion. So what will be the del S value? Q, which is the heat exchange, divided by the corresponding temperature. What is the temperature here? It is the fusion temperature or the melting temperature, which is 300 Kelvin. Okay, so we have to have the temperature on the Kelvin scale. So Q is what? Delta H for the fusion, which is 2930 joule per mole. So joule per mole, and this is 300 Kelvin. So 2930 by 300, it will be less than, because 3000 by 300 will be what? 10. So it will be less than 10. So we are not even required to really do the final step of calculation. The moment you see it, right, 2930 by 300 means what? This should be less than 10, slightly less than 10. The only option that will suit is 9.77. What will be the unit? Joule per mole per Kelvin. Correct answer is option A. Next we have a question on delta H and delta E relation. So for a chemical reaction, right, it's a very standard model of question, finding the relation between the delta H and delta E. Look at this question. For the reaction C2H5OH, ethyl alcohol, liquid state, plus 3 moles of O2 gas gives rise to 2 CO2 gas and 3 H2O liquid. See, whenever we have these problems where we are relating del H and del E, or wherever we have this gas moles coming into picture, like in the case of calculation of delta Ng. What is delta Ng? This is the change in number of gas moles This comes in two formulae. One is what? So we have the relation between delta H and delta E. What is it? Delta H is equal to delta E plus del Ng RT. This comes in thermodynamics. Okay. And we also have this coming in equilibrium. So in equilibrium we have the formula, right? Kp is equal to what? Kc into RT whole power del Ng. So in these cases, right, we have to pay particular attention to what is the physical state of the substance. Okay. So now let's look at it. So for the reaction, this is a reaction given to us, right? What is the reaction? C2H5OH liquid state plus 3 moles of O2 gas gives rise to 2 moles of CO2 and 3 moles of water in the liquid state. For this, which of the relations is true? It means, we have to find out first what is the, we know the formula. What is the formula? Del H is equal to del E plus del Ng RT. First we have to find what is del Ng. What is del Ng? Change in number of gas moles, right? Product side, what is the number of gas moles? This is not a gas, this is a liquid. So only carbon dioxide is a gas, so 2 moles. Reactant side, this is not a gas, this is a liquid. So we'll take only oxygen, 3 moles of oxygen. What is it? -1. Means del H is equal to del E plus -1 into RT. Means what? Del H is equal to del E minus RT will come. So what is the correct answer for this? It is option A. Next we have another straight question. In an endothermic reaction, the value of del H is. So what is endothermic reaction where del H will be positive? So on an energy diagram, right, if you look at endothermic reaction, okay, so if you look at the endothermic reaction, right, on an energy diagram means how do you show the progress of the reaction. So we'll have a reaction, this is the reactant, this is the product. Okay, so energy of the product will be, this is the energy of the product, this is the energy of the reactant. So product energy will be more than the reactant energy. Okay, the energy of the product will be more than energy of the reactant. Now del H, right, how do you find it out? It will be what? The energy or the enthalpy of the product minus enthalpy of the reactant. This will be higher, that's why it will be what? Endothermic. Okay, so the del H value will be positive. Exothermic means del H will be negative. Okay. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1999. In the reaction, S plus 3 by 2 O2 gives rise to SO3 plus 2X. And SO2 plus half O2 gives rise to SO3 plus Y kilocalorie. The heat of formation of SO2 is how much? So they are giving us the two reactions. What are the two reactions? First and second. What is the first one? S plus 3 by 2 O2 gives rise to SO3 plus 2X kilocalories. Means this much amount of energy is actually released. This is the convention that is followed, right? So when we express like A plus B gives rise to C plus 20 kilocalories, means what? This 20 kilocalories amount is actually released. Okay, these are all what? Exothermic reactions. Now second reaction given to us is what? SO2 plus half O2 gives rise to SO3 plus Y kilocalories. They're asking what is the heat of formation of SO2. What do you mean by heat of formation of SO2? Heat of formation of any substance will be the enthalpy change in the reaction where 1 mole of the substance is formed from the basic constituents, means sulfur and oxygen. Okay, so for this what is the enthalpy change? That's what they're asking. Okay, first look at how do we get this reaction. First of all, what is our unknown reaction we have to get? This is like an basic Hess law application. So we have to get S plus O2 gives rise to SO2 reaction. See, if you look at the second reaction, right, reverse the second reaction. If you reverse second reaction, how do we write it? SO3 plus Y kilocalories gives rise to what? This comes to this side, SO2 plus half O2. This is let us say third. Now just forget about the second. Okay, forget about the second. Let us add 1 and 3. If you add 1 and 3, what happens? SO3 is cancelled. Half O2, 3 by 2 O2 means we will be left with O2. So what you are going to have? S plus O2 plus Y kilocalories gives rise to what? SO2 plus 2X kilocalories. We will take the Y also to the right side. What you are going to have? S plus O2 gives rise to what? SO2 plus 2X minus Y kilocalories. Means what is that heat of formation? It is 2X minus Y. So basically we are just trying to follow how we will arrange the given two equations to arrive at the equation representing the formation of SO2. What is the equation representing the formation of SO2? The equation that represents getting 1 mole of SO2 from sulfur and oxygen gas. Okay. Next we have a theoretical question that has come in the 1998. Identify the correct statement regarding the entropy. What is option A? We have to go through all the options. Okay. At absolute zero temperature, the entropy of all crystalline substances is taken to be 0. Option B is saying at absolute zero temperature, the entropy of all perfectly crystalline substance is positive. Option C is saying that at absolute zero temperature, entropy of all perfectly crystalline substance is taken as what? 0. Option D is saying at 0 degree centigrade, the entropy of perfectly crystalline substance is taken to be 0. See, the reference temperature for the entropy estimations is not 0. It is the absolute 0. Okay, so option D is straight away knocked off because it is never about the 0. So whenever we talk about thermodynamic temperature references, it is always with regard to what? With regard to the absolute 0. Okay. Now if you look at the entropy reference, right, as the absolute 0 is approaching, entropy of all the substances will reach a constant value. Okay, it is not going to become 0 for all the substances. It will be 0 for only the perfectly crystalline substances or pure crystalline substances. So what is the correct answer for this? It is option C. At absolute 0, the entropy of a perfectly crystalline substance will be what? 0. That is the reference for the entropy. So this is also what we call as the third law of the thermodynamics. Okay. So third law of thermodynamics talks about what? The entropy reference. So it talks about the idea that entropy of any system, right, will be approaching a constant value as we reach the absolute 0. Okay. And for the pure crystalline substance, where pure crystalline means there is going to be a complete perfect order, because crystalline substances we have two types. I mean, pure crystalline substances and then amorphous, or there will be some disorder. Okay, so we are looking at pure crystalline substance with perfect order. For that, the entropy will be taken as what? 0 at the absolute 0 temperature. Clear? Next we have a question that has come in the year 1998. 1 mole of an ideal gas at 300 Kelvin is expanded isothermally from initial volume 1 liter to 10 liters. The delta E of the process is. So what is the process here? It is an isothermal process. Isothermal means what? Temperature will be constant and we need to find delta E. What is delta E formula? Any process, delta E will be equal to what? NCV delta T. Del E will be equal to what? NCV delta T. But if it is isothermal means, is the temperature changing? No, right? The gas may be expanding from 1 liter to 10 liters, but the temperature is not changing. Means what? Del T will be 0, means del E will be what? 0. That's why so what is the answer for this? Option B. For the isothermal process, right? What will be the first law modification? Normally first law is what? Q plus W is equal to delta E. Okay, sometimes we also use the symbol delta U. Okay, so both delta E and delta U, they represent what? They will be representing the change in internal energy. So this is 0, which means what? Q will be equal to minus W, or W will be equal to minus Q. So this is what we have as a relation between Q and W for the isothermal process. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1997. We have two equations given to us. What are the two equations? Carbon plus oxygen gives rise to carbon dioxide. Del H naught means we are looking at the standard thermodynamic conditions. Okay, so we are looking at the standard thermodynamic conditions. Okay, so here C plus O2 gives rise to CO2. What is the del H naught value? Minus X kilojoules exothermic. 2CO plus O2 gives rise to 2CO2. Del H is what? Minus Y kilojoules. Here also it is representing as what? The exothermic reaction. We need to find the enthalpy of formation of carbon monoxide. What do you mean by the enthalpy of formation of carbon monoxide? It is the enthalpy change in the reaction where we will form 1 mole of the carbon monoxide from the basic constituents. What are the basic constituents? Carbon and oxygen. So what is the equation? C plus half O2 gives rise to CO. So for this we have to find what is the delta H. Now if you look at the given equations, right, let's call them as what? 1. So what is the first equation? C plus O2 gives rise to CO2. Okay, so del H will be equal to minus X. And second equation is what? 2CO plus O2 gives rise to 2CO2. For this del H is equal to minus Y. Now how do we modify them? See, in the final reaction we need to have 1 mole of carbon in the reactant side. That is already there as it is in the first equation. So first equation, let us keep it as it is, not to change it. Second equation, we have 2 moles of carbon monoxide, but on the reactant side. Final overall equation, we require 1 mole of carbon monoxide on the product side. So how we have to modify it? First, we must multiply this equation by a factor half. Okay, if we multiply by a factor half, what is going to happen? CO plus half O2 gives rise to CO2. So del H will be equal to what? It will become minus Y by 2. Now we have to reverse it. If you reverse it, what is going to happen? It will become CO2 gives rise to CO plus half O2. Del H will be equal to minus of minus Y by 2 will be plus Y by 2. So now the first and let us call this as what? Third equation. First and third, if you add, just think about it. First and third we are adding CO2, CO2 is cancelled. Okay, half O2 here. From O2, 1 mole of O2 will cancel half, means we will be remaining with what? Just half. So what is going to happen? Look at this. C plus half O2 gives rise to CO. We get the overall equation that represents the formation of carbon monoxide. Now on the delta H side, right, what is it going to be? This is minus X. This is Y by 2. So minus X plus Y by 2, which is, what is it going to be? If you take an LCM, means it will be what? Minus 2X plus Y by 2, which is what? Which is our option A, because Y minus 2X by 2. Either we write it like what? Minus 2X plus Y by 2 or Y minus 2X by 2. So these are all the kind of questions that we will have on the Hess law. We just have to first arrange the given equations, look at how we have to modify the given equations to arrive at the overall unknown equation. And in doing it, what we will do, we will look at the overall unknown equation. Like in this case, we look at this, we see carbon here, then we will go back to in which of the given equations carbon is coming. Based on that we will modify, or we will plan for the modification. When we are modifying the equations, if an equation is reversed, the del H of the modified equation will be equal to negative of the delta H of the original reaction. If an equation is multiplied by a factor, then del H of the modified equation is what? It is going to be the del H of the original equation multiplied by the same factor. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which will be the last part of the past year NEET questions from Dharmod and Mix. So maybe if you have just seen this part video, you can probably take a look at the previous 6 part videos and also the next one. Okay.